Alexander, very interesting to see how Fraport has developed its international business since the IPO in 2001. Can you describe how important the international segment is now for the Fraport AG group and for its shareholders?
The international business is increasingly important. Just last year, the international business contributed around 30% of EBITDA to the group figures. So that alone shows how important our activities outside the fence of Frankfurt Airport are. And our board and the shareholders also expect us to continue to grow the portfolio and to increase our global reach. We are, nowadays, you may know, we operate 12 airports outside of Frankfurt. All passengers combined is 200 million per year in 2010, and we expect to increase that number for 2011, obviously.
That's good. It's been quite a journey, as I say, from 2001. What parameters do you work within as far as the shareholders are concerned? What are they really looking for you to do? Are there synergies that they're looking for you to develop? Are there benefits for the use of Fraport's personnel by getting involved in overseas projects? What sort of strategic framework do your shareholders look for from this sort of international diversification?
Well, first of all, our shareholders look for profitable investments. I mean, that is the overruling parameter, as you might expect. Even though we still have 51% of public sector shareholders.
Right.
Of course, they look for airport investments where we contribute, where we add value, which means we can improve operations, we can leverage on synergies, we can finance investments or build airports which otherwise couldn't be built in those locations. So, but primarily it's a very simple return-driven consideration. Also, one of the other factors is that the growth in Frankfurt, although we now opened the new runway, is steady, but it's rather low compared with what we can achieve in other markets around the world.
So this helps you tap into growth that's
absolutely
it's higher in other markets. In terms of the approach, we just sat down here and talked to Amit Ricky from Vancouver Airport Services, who have a joint venture approach to international expansion with city infrastructure investors. I think the Fraport model is quite different, that you look at it on a more project-by-project basis. Is that right? And is that the right approach? Do you think that's the right way to address international airport opportunities?
Well, it certainly is the right approach for us, for Fraport. We look at we look at project opportunities in an opportunistic manner because we don't know, as you know, and as everybody in the industry knows, we don't know when an airport project will come to the market. But when we go to a market, we look to assemble a team and a consortium that has the highest chances to win, and that typically includes a local partner. Not always, but in most of the times, yes. So that's why we don't necessarily team up with a fixed partner globally, but we look at every airport or every region on a case-by-case basis. However, if we have a good experience with one partner, we may continue to do so in others. The other issue is the financing. Fraport has a strong balance sheet, so we like to take majority stakes.
Right.
So if it fits, we don't necessarily need a financial investor to back our involvement.
Right. And maybe another question on the activity. 2011 has been a fairly busy year, I think, for yourselves on a few specific projects. And Fraport is perhaps more global in its current reach, and perhaps more global than other airport operators in some instances, in terms of looking at opportunities. Do you have a particular focus geographically going into the future? Do you think it's important? Do you think there are certain environments where you're likely to be more successful than not? How do you square that? Because you're actually looking at a very wide range of opportunities by comparison, perhaps, with your peer group.
Yeah. Well, we do look at so many opportunities because we don't know when the next opportunity will really develop to a stage where a process and a privatization or a sale is really coming to fruition. We would like to expand in South America. We already have a foothold or a bridgehead in Lima. We'd definitely like to expand into Brazil. I think that's fairly known. And we would also like to expand in the future more into Africa. We have a small investment, small activity in Senegal. But I see in the long run very good prospects in Africa. So we will take a cautious look at Africa as well. And well, anything that's coming up in Europe or Eastern Europe, there are still many opportunities, as I'm sure you know, everybody knows. But for some reason they are stuck, and probably it's good that they're stuck because there's such an amount of projects in the pipeline right now that it will be most likely too much for the market to absorb.
So you're heading towards a global group?
Well, we try that, although we see specific advantages. I think we have a very good setup in Brazil with our partner. We would also, talking about Brazil, we think that the upcoming privatization of ANA in Portugal will be an interesting opportunity. So yeah, we like to go global, but we don't mind opportunities which are much closer than, let's say, South America.
Excellent. Well, Alex, good luck in all your ventures.
Thank you very much, Justin.
And I'm sure there'll be plenty to keep you busy in the future.
I think so.
Excellent.